Okay, dear friends in Dhamma, we have come to the last question and answer session of this Kalalgoda December English medium retreat. So we are going to meet only next year. So we'll start the last session. Yeah, we have received a couple of written questions. Asoka is ready to present them, so we'll go ahead with that.
Swamina Hansa, we have 5 written questions today.
Right.
Question number 1. Theruvan Saranai Swamin Hansa. I have been practicing walking meditation for a while, particularly at the monthly retreats in Kalalgoda. The feelings on feet can be easily identified. I am able to observe the roughness, softness, sharpness of minute particles, sands falling off the soles, etc. My pace of walking suddenly increased. I felt it was an abnormal speed. At times, it was particularly a bumpy, fast walk. I then decided to move from that area since it was not a normal walking meditation. Please advise. Much merit.
So you can try some other area whether you are not getting bumpy. So, if it is happening naturally, then, you don't need to purposely change. Say, allow the body to decide. So, we are very much like allowing the body to see how it happens, and we allow the body to naturally recognize the kind of a comfortable pace and the way of walk. Now, assume that you are simply going to, walking to a bus stand. So, are you really, walking? Or simply allow the body to walk. So we don't much care about how body walks, right? So body walks, that's it. So same thing if we can bring here also. So the simply body walks. And but the important thing is I am trying to keep my attention on the sensations of the foot. So since I can't immediately come to that level, so I am making it left, right, or lifting, moving, placing. So that kind of noting I am using just to occupy the mind, to avoid mind going towards distractions, and so that I am occupying the mind with the primary object. So later we recognize, okay, the body walks and I am simply witnessing the whole process. So anyway, I feel that you may get it, because when we start mindful walking, when we start mindful breathing, then sometimes we understand, okay, I am confused in this process. Unnecessarily I am putting my hand, I am interfering in the process, so I am getting to difficulties. Later myself alone may understand, okay, what is the proper, rhythm to allow? What is the proper way of doing it? So slowly I recognize the rhythm, or I recognize the kind of an art, how to allow it. I don't need to interfere in the process, let the body decide that, do it naturally. So what is the art to look at it? It's a kind of a way that we are slowly understanding. So you may recognize that with time, so nothing to worry. Yeah. Yes. So you are the ones with... Yeah. So you can come forward if you like. Hope you are not feeling bumpy now.
It is not my question anyway. Concentrate on my feet when I'm walking. I'm not jogging, I'm just walking.
Right.
But halfway, I feel like increase the speed like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
did it happen naturally?
Naturally.
Right.
And one point, about halfway, there was no ground.
Mm-hmm. No ground.
No feet.
Uh-huh.
Right? You can't say you are feeling a feet, but there's a feeling.
There's a feeling.
Feeling not belongs to anything.
Mm-hmm.
Not to the ground, not to the feet, but there was a feeling passing away so fast.
Right.
And it seems like the speed is matching to the passing away speed, like something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so...
Yeah, maybe. Something like that can happen actually. Now you are more attuned towards recognizing how things are rising, passing away. So you forget about everything else. Now, so that momentum can sort of get mixed up with your way of walking.
Yeah.
Sometimes
it was almost like jogging. It's
jogging,
so fast.
So it's happening so speedily, and so naturally the body also catching up that. It happens sometimes. You say while walking, if there's a drum beat is going on, so we automatically adjust to that drum beat. So we get synchronized with that drum beat. So similarly, now you are paying more attention to the passing away part. Now the walking speed and the way of walk may get automatically synchronized with that that passing away speed. It can happen, but I mean, if it is not harmful, or if you can manage that, no harm.
Yeah. But now I'm not going for jogging. Anyway.
So these things can happen because, say, even though at the beginning it's very much like I am walking and I am now lifting, moving, placing. So all these different I and all the conventional things are available. But as we continue, we discard all those labels and simply we be with the walking.
Yeah.
And then we sometimes don't know where we are, what's time, and where I am walking, etc. So that should be all right, by the way.
That the strange thing is that this feeling is not belongs to anything, not the ground.
Correct.
No feet, no ground, just
the feeling.
Just the feeling.
So I mean, it may happen even while sitting. No, that is not an uncommon thing. So you may start sitting and start looking at various things, but ultimately when your mind is so focused onto the particular feeling and you can't recognize where it is even. Just the feeling is there, but you can't find out where it is coming from or where exactly in the body it is located. So you can't recognize. That's quite good. I mean, that's all right. So it is not that we want to maintain so much of information while keeping the attention to the feeling. Rather, what happens is, as we are more and more focusing our attention to the feeling, all other unnecessary information keep dropping out. And now we are fully with the feeling, and then only we can fully comprehend the nature of the feeling. So that is quite welcome.
Feeling detached from the body life.
Correct, definitely. So it is not my feeling, or it does not belong to anything, it's just the feeling. Now I am observing the very feeling, the mere feeling. Yeah. Good.
Question number 2. Most Venerable Bhante, this morning's sitting session was able to calm the mind quite soon. The breath thinned out and a profound clarity came over me. Some pressing issues I had been having since late felt very mundane. The realization that those issues are still very much existent, but my retaliation to them has changed, was quite powerful. Observed that mindset as well in order to not get carried away. The body became a shell of sorts, as if there is nothing shell of sorts.
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 Thoughts.
Sorts.
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 Right.
As if there is nothing to it. The feeling of absolute emptiness was quite liberating. At the end, the thought of why am I fretting over such mediocre matters when I have something so precious, that is the Dhamma, was a powerful realization. Walking.
Okay, yeah, better, yes.
Walking session. Comparatively, I find it is quite primitive. I am aware, but it is sort of a baseline mindfulness. Mind wanders, but returns to the footsteps. There definitely isn't a point-to-point awareness. Please advise Bhante. Much gratitude and respect.
Yeah, I mean, this happens as you are capable of letting go everything and not keeping anything in particular for your attention. So now mind is capable of not getting distracted and again is still not established anywhere. So I hope, so this is the same thing that you are talking. May I know who has written it? Yes? Okay. So am I in the same line of what you understand? Or something different? Yeah, one moment.
With regard to walking meditation, for over 2 years now, I don't see a marked improvement. Like there is no development as such in sitting meditation. Yes.
So sitting, as you explained, can you repeat the experience in the sitting?
As in Bhante, that absolute nothingness, emptiness,
Right.
That feeling.
So are you able to be in that?
Yes, but then I made a mental note not to get attached to that also, and I made a note of the mental note also. But
how you feel during that time? Relaxed?
As in like the body is there, but like
so where is
some
your
sort
attention?
of this.
Keep your attention onto a particular selected thing. That we do, of course, in the beginning, in order to avoid distractions. So we do that, but later we do all these investigations, understandings, and all these things are going on. Later, slowly, mind detached from the whole process, and then it's very much like awareness is there, but you can't say, okay, now mind has focused thoroughly onto a particular thing. We can't say like that. So if you feel that, if you can, next time when you sit, see whether you are reaching that kind of a situation. So aren't you reaching that or something else you are talking?
As in Bhante, like that there's a weightlessness, emptiness, nothingness with a very much detached feeling to it. Yeah. But walking meditation, Bhante, I don't find
now
much
before going to walking, so day-to-day activities, if you consider, how is your mind kind of reacting?
It reacts.
Reaction is still there.
Yeah, it's still reactivity
Talking,
is still
chatter,
there.
proliferation, everything's good.
Proliferation, I'm able to stop at some point, not at the most initial point.
Right.
But I'm able to know that I have gone
Track. Right.
Yes.
So things are happening under your supervision, very much like that.
Up until some moments.
To some extent.
Yeah.
Okay, seems okay. So while walking, so now what's the problem?
It's like a very baseline mindfulness, Bhante. It's not very it's not at all profound. It's not very strong. As in.
So while walking, where are you keeping your attention?
The feet.
On the foot.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you keep your attention on the feet, so what do you understand?
The sensations, the texture of the mat.
Right.
Usually the mat.
Right.
And how I perceive the sensations.
Right.
Like my reactions, my mental reactions to it.
Right. So what happens to the sensations?
They are not when in sitting meditation I notice very subtle sensations.
Right.
Like that I don't notice
in the
walking
you
meditation.
You don't get that type of precision or sharpness.
Yeah, not precise at all.
You can try a different approach, by the way. So while walking, after you feel, mindfulness has fairly improved, so simply start looking at the mind and see how things are going on. Do it in a relaxed manner. Allow the mind to wander if it wants. So you are not holding it thoroughly, rather you give a little bit of a freedom to the mind. If it wants, it can wander. Now you see how mind is continuing. Say, very much like switching to kind of observation of the mind from observation of the body. So you establish mindfulness using the, body. Say you keep watching sensations, and later after some time, now assume, as you said, now it is very much like baseline type of mindfulness, a kind of relaxed type of mindfulness. And now look at the mind. So allow the mind to freely move. Not sharply, strongly holding, just allow the mind to freely move and see how thoughts are coming, and then you notice in them, not getting sort of deluded by them, another thought coming and again another coming, and see how they are behaving, how thoughts are behaving. So this way actually we can learn through the Chittanupassana, we can learn how they are behaving, how the mind is behaving. So that way you are adding another dimension to the picture. How, all these are anyway conditioned phenomena, no? So we are in a way observing as much as possible various conditioned phenomena to educate ourselves, to improve the understanding in the mind. So now I am using the mind itself. Okay, let it think. I am by the way watching. Various thoughts are coming. I am watching their behavior. So this way probably you can, because now it seems like you can't get much from the typical Kayanupassana part while walking, because it is very much like relaxed. But now allow the mind also to freely move and see how it behaves. You can see that, and sort of if you are learning from that, if you understand how it is behaving, then slowly the mind also become more relaxed and calm, quiet. So that side may further start improving. You can try that and see. Yeah.
Question number 3. Venerable Bhante, can you kindly elaborate more on the following point from the Dhamma sermon yesterday? As practitioners of mindfulness, sometimes we are able to identify an emotion or an unwholesome thought occupying mind, may it be anger, greed, lust, envy, etc. But we are unable to control such thoughts or emotions, and they linger in the mind for longer, be it hours, days, even at the back of the mind, without coming to forefront or action level. Can you please advise on what can be done to address such a situation?
Yeah, that's why so Buddha, actually in the Dhamma it is mentioned three levels in the defilements. So one level is the most easiest, or rather we can say we being overwhelmed by that, and we being driven by that, victimized to that, and we go for a kind of a transgression. Now that is what we call as the vitikkama type of kilesa. Transgression has happened, so we are too late, we are not unmindful. So then the next level is what we call as the pariyutthana. So where the mind is going through something, we notice that, we are aware of that, but mind is going through it, but we haven't come yet to the action. So the mind, even though mind is occupied with certain defilement, so we have noticed that, but there is no action yet. That's another level. So that is the only place that we can notice actually, in a way. Because in the transgression level we are too late, and the next level is the kind of the hidden level, what we call as the anusaya. So that it is there, it's a kind of a potential available in the mind. When the conditions are available, there's a possibility of various different kinds of defilements to arise. So that is the difficult part actually. Now even though at the moment, say you all are listening and you don't have an anger, for example. But that doesn't say that we may not get angry in the future. So that's why the potential is still available. But the difference in an arahant's mind is that he can guarantee, okay, even in the future, the mind may not get on to any anger. So that's where, we are in a kind of a vulnerable situation. Even though I can assure, okay, right now I am not angry, I can't give an assurance that I may not get angry in the future. So, but the solution also lies by noticing. So whenever anger arises, okay, I need to be aware of that. As much as possible, I am not reacting to that, but slowly it's under very much your supervision. It is there, anger is there, but under your supervision. As a result of that, you are not going to transgression, you are not going to, say, argument or whatever it is, and you are very much like in a controlled manner, you are handling it. So later you can, as we discussed yesterday, later you can recognize anger at its early stage, then you know, okay, the fellow is going to in the wrong direction, but it is just starting, so you can manage it, you can easily handle it. So likewise, the things are improving. So it is not that immediately we can wipe out anger, it may not happen, but slowly it is going through. You can understand now, even a Sotapanna can get angry. Even a Sakadagami can get angry, but only an Anagami may not have anger. So therefore, it's a kind of a long process, and we can't expect quick results. But the solution lies where we recognize. We humbly recognize, okay, when anger is there, okay, yes, anger is there. And you are not afraid of that, and you are not claiming it as my anger, and you are not sort of hating yourself for having anger. Rather, you admit, okay, still anger is there. I humbly understand, admit, okay, anger is there. But now, as much as possible, I am keeping it under control. Control means it does not mean you suppress it, but you know it is there, but you are not getting carried away by the anger, or being really fooled by anger. Rather, it is there, so let it go, let it take its own death. So you are simply watching it. It has arisen due to some reason, but you are not promoting it, you are not fueling it. So as a result of that, it starts fading away. Likewise, it has to happen for long time. So that's why Buddha is giving kind of a simile. I might have told this, the Parasupama, where the talking of the axe handle of an axe. The idea is that there is a person who is cutting trees every day, and he is using an axe for that. So, and you can't say, because of the day's work, how much his handle has worn out. But after several years, he may understand, okay, I can't use this axe further, this handle further, I have to fix a new handle to this. That means during this course of the day, the whole year, as a result of this usage, it has slowly worn out. Same way Buddha say, okay, as of your day's practice, you can't evaluate to what extent the anger has dropped, anger has worn out. But maybe once you become an Anagami, you can say, yeah, it's not available now. And another interesting simile, actually, now it is quite relevant today because eggs are very expensive. I heard a news. So Buddha gives another simile. So there's a hen, which is, I don't know, what is it, hatching, right? What's that, hatching? So she hatches the eggs. So every day she does that. So every morning or whatever the time, so she come and lie on top of the eggs and give that proper warmth. And keep going on doing that. So what ultimately happen? Chicks may come out, right? That's the thing. So can you say, within a particular day that she has given this amount of energy or this amount of something for the maturity of these eggs? We can't say like that. But after a long time, because of the proper hatching process, yes, ultimately the chicks may coming out. So like that. So it's a matter of keep going our practice, continuing the practice. Again and again notice when the defilements are arising. And without getting discouraged, continue the process. Patience is the most important factor in that sense. Kanti paramang tapotitikha. Yeah.
Question number 4. Theruvan Saranai. Most Venerable Swamin Wahanse. Doing Chittanupassana for a while. Looking at mind while sitting, walking, sometimes day-to-day work. While doing this, sometimes feel another distance thing or person looking at thoughts. Am I again making a person? Please advise. Much merit to you.
So you can look that person also. Now this is looked by this person, and now you look this person from this person. So that is also mentioned, what is called Vipassana, where you recognize a particular object, and that object being known by one mind, and that mind also can be known by another mind. So likewise you can continue. So ultimately there is no such person, by the way. So I mean, you don't need to think too much. If you are going to think at that moment, is this person looking at? Who is this looking at? So then you get confused. Yeah, unnecessarily adding kind of a confusion to the picture. So you allow the observation going on. So we don't need to purposely step back and see who is observing. That's another situation, no? So sometimes, even though there is nothing substantial outside, so who is the one knowing that? Isn't it? I mean, you can ask a question, no? Who is observing? Then the question comes, okay, am I observing? Is I available here? So then again we get confused. So that's why, I mean, very beautifully Buddha mentioned in Kalakarama Sutta. So he mentioned, so other than the observing process, there is no any observer. And there is no even a particular object as observee, maybe. I don't know what's the proper term. The object, maybe. Just there is no kind of a substantial object. There is no observer other than the observing process. So, I mean, these things are in a way at the moment more theoretical, more philosophical, but it's a matter of continuing the practice. Later, we may go through it. I mean, we may understand it. So, I mean, to give you a kind of a feeling how subtle it is, probably you might have heard about the Khemaka Sutta. A very, very interesting situation where Venerable Khemaka, he being an elderly monk, he's a good practitioner, now very old, he is very much on the bed, and now the other monks want to know to what extent he has attained. So they send a messenger asking various questions. So, are you an arahant? Then he says, no, I am not an arahant. And now they want more explanation. So messenger also again go and ask, so what are you taking as self? Are you considering the body as self? Are you considering feelings as self? And repeatedly Venerable Khemaka answer, I am not considering body as self. I am not recognizing body as a self. I am not recognizing feelings as self. I am not recognizing perceptions as self. I am not recognizing any of the thoughts, volitions and all these things as self. And through the senses I am perceiving various things. Even that I don't consider as a self. But still I have a sense of self. See how honesty is, no? I mean, if it happens to me, then I'll put something and just declare I'm an arahant. But he simply say, no, I have some feeling, a sense of self. So then, he has to go and explain the situation to the other monks. So he took the walking stick, because he is pretty old, and he is going with the walking stick to meet the other monks, and he is explaining this situation. So he give a very beautiful simile. Now say you take a beautiful flower. So it has the petals, right? It has petals. It has what else it has? Sorry? Oh, Renu, what's the English term? I don't know. Different this and that are there. Okay, you need to understand whatever it is. So various components are there. From which component the fragrance comes? So now through science, you can say various formula. That is not. But can you immediately recognize from which part the fragrance is coming? But the fragrance is there, right? Now petals are there, and different other parts are there. But kind of a smell, the fragrance is coming, but you can't say exactly from this particular place it is emanating. So similarly, Venerable Khemaka mentioned, even though I do not consider any of these aggregates as me, myself, mine, still I have a kind of a sense of I. And as he continue explaining things to the others, he become an arahant. How interesting it is. So you can see he's explaining things and he's recognizing this I feeling somewhere it is coming, and he's noticing that, and ultimately it shows God, he has become an arahant. Very beautiful. So likewise, so you keep explaining it, asking questions. So let's see how things happen. Right.
The last question number 5. Theruvan Saranai, Garu Swamin Wahansa. Walking meditation. Stood at the end of the path, screened the body, thinking, here I am, and started to walk. Felt the roughness and softness of the path, sometimes cold surface. Came to the other end, and within 4 steps, I turned and did the meditations the same way. After some time, changed the focus from sensations to the weight of the body, how the weight changes from one foot to the other. Continued like this for 2-3 rounds, and observed sensations on foot again. Time to time, thoughts too came, but did not get carried away with those. Soon was able to focus on feet. There were times I didn't feel any sensations, no thoughts came, as if I was dreaming without knowing. Soon I realized it, but could not remember for how long. Was able to meditate for 30 to 40 minutes. That's the walking. Sitting? Sitting meditation. Sat comfortably with back straight and listen to the background sounds, noise of the fans, vehicles, etc. After screening the body from head to legs, the focus on the movement of the chest. Felt clearly the in-breath and out-breath with chest movement. Observed exhale is longer than the inhale, and also observed the small space between exhale and inhale. Inhale, then the exhale starts after a small gap. Again inhale. Continue to observe this, and after some time I realized my body is bending forward. Now my focus changed to the body. Time to time it bends forward, and slowly I changed my posture to the starting position of the meditation. Most of the time my sitting meditation tends to be like this. Much merits. Theruvan Saranai.
Yeah, you are doing good. Basically you have noticed the subtle aspects of breathing. So like the gap between the two in-breath and out-breath. So likewise, so keep noticing. You are refining your attention. You are improving your clear comprehension by noticing all these subtle aspects. So breath is like a tool to sharpen our weapon of mindfulness or the weapon of wisdom. So there is nothing to change. It's a matter of continuing the process. Okay, that's all we have received. So, yeah. Yes.
In the walking meditation,
yeah,
it's not much different to what was said just before.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like the mind is not anymore focusing on the feet,
right,
and it now latches on to like the center of gravity being moved from one foot to another,
mm-hmm,
and also feet exerting force on the ground and how the body moves.
Right.
So when those kind of should I be there or get back to the feet?
Actually, we can say both sides are there, as you have observed. So, if necessary, we can pay close attention to this sensation and observe its behavior. Or else we can little step back and see the big picture. What's really going on and what are the how the, say, weight transfers from one leg to the other. So likewise, we can get a different perspective as well. Both are valid, but the thing is, in order to, say, to some extent understand the exact behavior of a particular sensation, you need to go to that kind of micro level understanding. So you are focusing your thing and you understand very subtle level. So how they are changing. So that is also necessary. Time to time, anyway, you can step back and take an overview of the whole process as well. Because we need certain amount of understanding how these subtle sensations are behaving, because it adds kind of a very, say, deep level to the mind, giving some understanding how quickly they arise, pass away, how quickly they change, and that is possible to see when you are able to carefully, precisely focus onto these little things and see their behavior. So that is also necessary. But if you feel little tense by doing that, at that time you can little relax and take the overview type of walking process. That's also fine. Yeah.
One more on sitting meditation. After about 10 minutes into meditation, series of yawning started. No,
yawning.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's
after how long?
After about 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Yeah. So this yawn actually it starts with very small breaths, and I feel the breath in the diaphragm changes.
Right.
So it's not me intentionally kind of yawning.
Correct.
So it comes. So it lasts for quite some time, like 20 minutes.
Correct.
And a lot of tearing also.
Correct.
So,
it's so
what
relaxing.
should I do?
Allow it. Simply allow it. But this yawning process is an indication that all the tensed muscles and tense whatever the things, there are internal things, so it keep releasing. And that's why, you feel tears, and ultimately you even have to remove snot and all these things. It's releasing process. So it can happen sometimes at the end of the session also. Say you are going through a kind of a beautiful meditation session, and one indicator of the end of the session, maybe you feel yawning and several yawns may go, and that indicates, that's now it's end. And you remove the tears and get up. So, it's a good indication. Now mind is relaxing. Mind is getting to more relaxed state. And it's very much like, say you go to a kind of you climb to a mountain. And after you reach the mountain, now you get a flat ground. Something like that. So here also, you concentrate and mind is now doing something. And now it's confirming, okay, that part is cleared. So that indicator, kind of assurance given to you is through a yawning. Something like that.
So if it continues to yawn...
Yeah, it may happen
okay.
sometime. It may happen for, several yawnings happen, definitely. But the number may get reduced.
Actually, I'm kind of starting to meditate
yes.
after quite some time.
So a lot of backlog is there now, so that's why so many yawning. Now after several months, it get reduced. Then only 2 yawning, 3 yawning only, not 10, 12. Very interesting. This body, we have so much of trapped energy, very much like trapped stresses, tensions, and all these things. So the meditation helps to release all these tensions, and body become more relaxed, mind also become relaxed. So that relaxing process is indicated through yawning. Yeah. Okay, if there are no any other question, then we can wind up the session. Fine. So we have received a small sharing of merits. 18 December, today breakfast dana was offered by a yogi who attends Kalalgoda retreats regularly. She wishes to transfer merits to passed away parents. Cecile and Vivian Gunatilaka, sister Kamani and 2 brothers, Harishchandra and Chandra Kumara. May Bante achieve the ultimate goal. Also, may all the yogis achieve their goals in the Dhamma path without a delay. Today lunch dana was offered by Mr. Sunil Cabral and Shriyani Cabral, also Mrs. Priyantha Chandradeva. Merits to be transferred to their departed parents and relatives. Wish Bhante and their yogis a very happy new year 2023. So that ends the session basically. So we are going to meet again in 2023. So we can wish reduction in electricity. Maybe the fuel price and all these things, and in 2023 we have a peaceful year. Anyway, our lives are going up and down, so this is what life offers. And you can see how vulnerable the sankharas are. So we have no guarantee. It's very, in a way, the life situations help us to understand this reality. So if we look, each and every lesson in a way, every situation, if we look at in the proper way, proper perspective, then we can learn from that as well, rather than taking them personally and crying and worrying. So what the lesson is going to teach me? So just to share a little thing, actually I plan to visit Chitta Vivekashrama today. I'm going there, and I asked Bandula, our monastery person, to come there. And yesterday night I get to know from the organizer, so he's just stuck in Monragala, so he can't come. So the organizer at Chitta Vivekashrama, so he's really puzzled, and he's giving me a call and asking, Bhante, what's going on now, how Venerable Dhammasarana is coming here, so he's upset. Then I also was little panicked, because, not really panicked, little disturbed, because everything was planned and asked them to come, return on time and things. And later understood, no, they can't come. So things, whatever the activity happened there was delayed, and they can't return, and they are returning only today morning, so they can't do it. So the other arrangements were done for Venerable Dhammasarana to reach Chitta Vivekashrama. So likewise, we sometimes really plan, you have to come on this time, you come that time, okay, he may come on this time. So everything is well planned. But all of a sudden, everything collapses. Everything go full unplanned, full chaos. This is what life offers in that sense. So on such situation, how can I maintain the stability of the mind? So, these are different opportunities in a way to tell us always, to teach us always, even though we plan, even though we have a lot of designs and plans and all these things can go wrong. That's why Achan Chah used to say, everything is like 50-50. You can't guarantee. It can happen or it might not happen. That's it. 50-50 is there. You can't say 100% anything. Even though you assure something as more than 100%, or rather more than 50% assurance is given, still 50-50. Still everything is 50-50. 50% is there for the success, 50% is there for the failure as well. So this is life in a way. So understanding that, so we understand, okay, the world is imperfect, so situations are imperfect, so we are in a perfectly imperfect world. So with that, we'll conclude today's the question and answer session, and we'll wind up the Kalalgoda English Medium retreat. And may you recite Namo Tassa 3 times to observe what you call that Ajivattamaka Sila. Yeah.